For most of human history, water wasn't a product. It was simply there. You fetched it from a well, a river, or a communal fountain. In ancient Rome, massive aqueducts carried fresh water into cities, and anyone could use it. It was a public service. No bill, no meter. Even just a couple of centuries ago, many towns relied on shared pumps or local springs. Water belonged to everyone. But then cities grew, and so did the problems. Crowded, dirty streets became breeding grounds for cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. Suddenly, it wasn't enough to have water. You needed clean water, and that meant treatment, pipes, and constant maintenance. Governments built centralized systems, funded by taxes. For the first time, there was a cost to delivering water, but it was still considered a public good. The idea of running water delivered straight into a building began in fits and starts. In ancient palaces and wealthy homes, clay pipes or carved stone channels sometimes brought water indoors. The Romans perfected this for their bathhouses and elite villas, but it vanished in Europe after the empire fell. For centuries, most people carried water from a public source in buckets. Then, in the 1600s, cities like London experimented with wooden pipes and simple pumping systems to supply select homes, usually the rich. By the late 1800s, iron pipes, steam-powered pumps, and municipal reservoirs made indoor taps possible for the middle class. Running water became a status symbol, proof you lived in a modern, civilized home. And then came the tipping point. Public health campaigns proved that clean, piped water reduced disease dramatically. Governments invested heavily, and by the mid-20th century in much of the industrialized world, running water was no longer a luxury, it was the norm. The Industrial Revolution didn't just change factories, it transformed water. New engineering companies could design and build huge waterworks, treatment plants, and underground networks. And some offered to run these systems too, for a price. In 19th century London, private water companies supplied entire districts, competing for customers in what was literally called the water monopoly. In Paris, private firms managed the city's supply long before the Eiffel Tower was built. Elsewhere, public utilities stayed in control. But the precedent had been set. Companies could own or operate the very systems that delivered life's most basic necessity. And once that door was open, the business of water began. If private water utilities put a price on delivery, bottled water companies put a price on the water itself. It started in the 18th and 19th centuries, when mineral springs were marketed for their healing properties. People bought bottles to take the magic home. By the 1970s and 80s, bottled water was reinvented as a lifestyle product. Advertising told you it was purer, cleaner, healthier than what came out of your tap, and they sold it at thousands of times the price. Here's the twist. Many bottled brands start with municipal tap water. Today, bottled water is a $300 billion global industry dominated by a few multinationals: Nestle, Danone, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo. In some cases, you're literally paying for your own tap water twice. It's not just bottled water. Some of the world's largest water utilities are private corporations. Veolia and Suez, both based in France, operate water systems in dozens of countries, sometimes under contracts that last decades. When a city hands over its system, the company controls the pipes, the treatment plants, and the billing. Critics say this can lead to higher prices and lower investment in infrastructure. That's why some cities have taken their water back. In 2010, Paris ended its private contracts and remunicipalized its supply, claiming it could run things more transparently and more cheaply in public hands. Who controls your water isn't just a technical question, it's a political one. Around the world, there's a debate. Is water a human right or a commodity? In South Africa, the Constitution says every citizen has the right to sufficient water. In the United States, water is usually treated as a utility. You get billed for what you use, and if you don't pay, it can be shut off. In drought-prone regions, water rights can be incredibly valuable and controversial. Companies have bought rights to pump from aquifers in California, even during severe droughts. In Michigan, Nestle has faced protests for bottling water from public sources, while local residents struggle with access. Water is about survival, and yet in many places, it's also about contracts, politics, and profit. Even if water were completely free at the source, getting it to your kitchen isn't. The average big city water system has thousands of miles of underground pipes, dozens of pumping stations, and treatment plants running day and night. Your bill pays for that infrastructure, the electricity to move it uphill, the chemicals to make it safe, the staff to keep it running, the labs that test it. In a public utility, it's billed at cost. In a private one, there's also profit. Your glass of water may have started in the clouds, fallen into a river, and traveled through a network older than your grandparents. It's crossed landscapes, survived treatment, and navigated a maze of underground pipes, all before the 2-second trip from your tap to your glass. And whether it's delivered by your city or a corporation, there's always someone in the middle, making sure it gets to you and sending the bill. Because in the modern world, water isn't just life, it's business. Hey guys, Quotidian here. If you like this video, then please consider liking and subscribing, as it really does help our channel to grow and continue to bring you interesting videos about the everyday like this one.